Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, another raft of restrictions will be lifted as health authorities walk the COVID tightrope. Household gatherings of up to 40 people will be permitted as families prepare for Christmas, and Tasmanians will finally be allowed to stand and drink in bars, but only in outdoor areas.
He's put the signs up, but people keep asking.
Stand-up drinking's paramount for us. Our customers are asking us, they're pleading with us.
Pleas met with a compromise by the state government.
From Friday of next week, vertical drinking in hospitality venues in their outdoor areas only will be allowed.
The hotel lobby is calling the decision trivial and confusing. Health authorities remain worried over people mixing together in close spaces.
And that confined space is why, in fact, indoor drinking is more risky. Outdoor drinking, there's much better ventilation.
From next Friday, it will be mandatory for all venues to take contact tracing information. Details will need to be kept for 28 days. There's criticism the new measures don't go far enough.
You look at New South Wales, they're using QR codes, they're using a very comprehensive approach to contact tracing. We're not seeing that here in Tasmania.
Meanwhile, household gatherings will be increased to 40 people as families prepare for Christmas. The Premier has also foreshadowed Tasmania could open to Victoria before December 1, a move tourism operators are desperate to see.
Whilst it's been great to see some activity out of Queensland, which is a growing market for Tassie, and we're obviously looking at opportunities like New Zealand. At the end of the day, it's really about Victoria and New South Wales.
Times are still tough for Paul JUBB.
You look around that Salamanca precinct, our tourist precinct, things are poor. Trading is very poor, to be quite honest.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
There were emotional scenes at Tasmanian airports today as the first wave of New South Wales visitors arrived without needing to quarantine. Our tough border restrictions between the two states relaxed for the first time in 7 months. Our reporter Garth Burley is on the ground at Launceston Airport. Good evening, Garth. Now, today was a long time coming for many arrivals.
Certainly was, Kim. What fantastic scenes here today. This has been months and months in the making, and here at the airport it was really a hive of activity and lots of joy. Getting the general feeling from people, the general feeling and overwhelming emotion is relief. They did not expect to be kept apart from their loved ones for this long. So when all were reunited, their emotions were hard to contain.
For many, it's been almost a year, deprived of the comfort of family and friends, so on the tarmac, these reactions were expected.
How are you guys feeling?
Great, very happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you, Tasmania, for letting us here day before the wedding. Thank you so much.
Wedding!
Woohoo! Yes! We were so happy.
In the arrivals lounge, the emotions were much more raw. Only the second time this traveller has seen her sister's twins.
So exciting and it's so overwhelming and it's so nice.
I guess you didn't expect to be having kids and not seeing family and friends and everything, so yeah.
Families reunited.
I can't tell you how relieved we are after so many months.
It's been good. It's not the same when you just have FaceTime and texting and stuff.
The packed Sydney flights making it the busiest day in 6 months for the Launceston Airport, but the big fish on the horizon is Melbourne.
It's about 60% of our business, and I think we're going to see a lot of that visiting family and friends. We're probably going to see a big exodus out of Melbourne.
Numbers on the Spirit of Tasmania, steady but nowhere near pre-COVID levels. In Hobart, there were hugs and tears, a product of the horror year many have endured.
It's unbelievable. It's been 9.5 months and it's just been really hard, and I'm just thrilled to be here with them.
Some reuniting with familiar faces, others faces never seen before.
I was here the weekend before the borders closed for the baby shower.
So she hasn't met.
And now I can meet Teddy.
This is where all passengers began their day, Sydney Airport, with heightened anticipation.
Who are you going to see?
Mummy.
How excited are you about seeing your mum?
So excited.
It's good timing the borders have opened, and we're pretty excited to see the family.
In a year they'll want to forget, these are memories to last a lifetime.
One passenger who has just touched down in Tasmania moments ago is Prime Minister Scott Morrison. His government plane landed at Hobart Airport at around 6 this afternoon ahead of tomorrow's State Liberal Conference where he is scheduled to speak. It will be the first time that he has been to Tasmania since the pandemic began. Kim?
Hey, thank you very much, Garth. Well, to other news now. Parliamentary inquiry investigating the government's COVID spending has called for a controversial list of grant recipients to be made public. The Premier has so far refused to reveal which Tasmanian small businesses shared in $26 million of hardship grants. Peter Gutwin says publicly naming the recipients would have an impact on the mental health of owners. But now the Public Accounts Committee is demanding that information be released.
I've taken advice from the person that ran the program and I formed a view based on that advice that it's not in the best interest of people to release that information.
A routine disclosure of this kind of information is normal, it's appropriate and it should be in the public domain. It's taxpayers' money and no business should feel any shame by seeking access to it.
The committee says the information's disclosure is a matter of transparency and fairness. A Longford man who fired bullets into his ex-partner's home after a dispute over a Holden Commodore has today been spared immediate jail time. Ethan Daniel Baker pleaded guilty to a raft of charges after the drug-fuelled incident in April last year. He was convicted, but the judge suspended his sentence for 2 years as long as he complies with a drug treatment order and does not re-offend. Nearly $70 million will be thrown at fixing the state's elective surgery waiting lists and removing hospital paperwork. But the pre-budget bonanza by the state government has already been attacked for being overdue and not addressing bed block.
A pen and paper system that took the work of 30 full-time staff finally set to be replaced.
An effective, efficient and easy-to-use online HR system will provide benefits for all of our workforce, taking away that manual burden of paper and days of double entry,
which will mean that clinicians will be able to spend more time focused on patients and less time on paperwork.
A $23 million health technology package coming in next week's state budget. It's a move long called for by the health union.
We need to have some electronic means to ensure that we're able to deal with things efficiently and as effectively as possible.
The government also announcing $45 million to help clear more than 8,000 people off the elective surgery waiting list. Currently so long, some patients are waiting years, even decades to be seen.
I'm confident that we can work to be able to procure these surgeries.
We are seriously concerned with the capacity at the moment in our surgical systems, and we'd hope that the government isn't just announcing a big number, knowing that their capacity over the next 12 months to deliver that may well be severely limited.
He says it's an optimistic plan.
One of the biggest issues that we have is people's ability to access the waiting list in the first place. We've got a backlog of people waiting for a specialist clinic's appointment.
A new program also announced to fund specialist visits to regional areas in an attempt to ease emergency department bottlenecks.
It'll provide a way in which some of these patients can be maintained in their community environment without having to present to the general hospitals.
Those on the front line hoping that's not everything to come from Thursday's budget. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
And Tasmania's rail network will also receive a budget boost with a $5 million upgrade announced for the North-South Rail Corridor. The project aimed at improving efficiency and safety. Bell Bay's terminal will be modernised with new roads and rail to be built. 40 new log tainers have also been ordered from Elphinstone Engineering's Triabunna workshop.
It's a local intellectual property, can't be built anywhere else in the country, and so we are making it here in Tasmania. It's all about having options, and certainly rail is another really good option to use for timber, and obviously utilise that near the Hobart port.
The government estimates an extra 100,000 tonnes of forestry products will be exported a year. Well, Tasmanians are being urged to take extra care when recycling, with tonnes of rubbish making its way into the wrong bin every day. One council says the errors are contaminating waste, slashing the amount that can be eventually reused.
Lifting, sifting and sorting.
Up to 100 tonnes of materials pass through this Derwent Park plant each day. Staff and machinery spending hours separating the waste before it's packed for reuse, helping reduce our impact on the environment.
Sorting through and separating cardboard, newsprint, aluminium, tin plate, amongst a number of plastics.
But a simple message still isn't getting through. Operators are removing on average 6 tonnes of non-recyclable waste each day, as residents place materials in the wrong bins. Bags of rubbish and items unfit for recycling are a constant during the sorting process, while this Santa's Christmas is looking anything but merry.
These products can't be recycled and they end up in landfill. Worse still is that they contaminate the other recyclable products that could go on to a future life.
She's urging Tasmanians to use National Recycling Week to evaluate their choices, especially as recycling expands in popularity.
It's really important that residents think before they put their waste out, can it be recycled, can it be reused?
As our population continues to grow, I feel that that demand will only increase.
Raising standards one bin load at a time. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Soon to set sail on the southern seas, Longline's new fishing ship has been unveiled. 20 people will be employed on the 65-metre-long Antarctic Aurora, which is being spruiked as a sign of the fishing industry's health.
It means that we, using Hobart as a base, are cementing our position as the gateway to the Antarctic.
And it's also very exciting to put features into this boat that ensure that we're minimising our impact on the environment. Even though we're fishing, we do everything we can possibly do.
The Bob Brown Foundation says the ship should be banned due to ownership links to Japanese whaling and is disappointed that governments have allowed it to dock. Tasmania's highways will be heaving with Holdens on Sunday when a special car show hits the road. In place of a large display, hundreds of Holdens will drive between Launceston and Burnie, spreading the iconic brand to its admirers.
Holden has plenty of mileage in Australia's heart, and these are about to add a bit more. From an iconic baby blue EH wagon to a 66 HR Premier, these cars are truly special.
It's an original car with low mileage. They're very hard to find these days.
Former Holden dealer Malcolm Calvert used to sell these cars. Now he buys them back, like this Kingswood, which he tracked down 4 decades after he sold it.
I think everybody loves their old Holden.
He'll be among those driving in Sunday's rolling car show between Launceston and Burnie. Also behind the wheel, Nigel and his daughter Rose. Cruising in their 86 VL Commodore.
It's an eye catcher, sounds good, and yeah, something a little bit different. You don't see a lot of them on the roads.
To make the drive even more nostalgic, the Holdens will be going along the old Bass Highway through Hagley and Westbury before taking the back roads along the coast.
We've seen our Holden franchises close down in Tasmania. That doesn't say the love isn't still there by so many, and they spend time and money in ensuring that that tradition of the Holden brand in Australia will actually carry on.
Drivers can register at Burnie, Ulverstone, Devonport, Deloraine or Launceston on the day. Everyone else can listen and look along the way. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
To local soccer, the Glenorchy Knights and Olympia Warriors are preparing to battle for the Lacko Seljak Cup in tomorrow's final. The Knights are on the hunt for silverware after falling short in its NPL title charge, while the Warriors hope a recent turn in form is timely ahead of the decider.
We've left our run perfect, really. Like over the last month or so, we've really started to gel.
We come into a cup final, the Lacko Seljak Cup final, which is something a little bit extra for us, full of confidence and in a good position.
All the action takes place at KG5 tomorrow evening. Meanwhile, Olympia and Clarence will face each other in the statewide cup final. The Warriors won the league and 2 of their 3 league clashes against the Zebras. However, Clarence thrashed them 4-1 in the Summer Cup earlier this year. Both sides say they are keen on playing an attacking game.
I think we've spoken about just sticking to our guns and playing our game and going out in
attacking mindset and sort of have backing ourselves. We've really just got to take our opportunities. I think that's something that both teams should be aiming to do, but we really just need to, once we get that opportunity, is just to take it.
Kick-off is at 2:30 in the afternoon, the men's game to follow. And tonight's Friday Flashback is celebrating 30 years this week since Lake Barrington hosted the World Rowing Championships. It was the biggest sporting event ever hosted in Tasmania at the time and demanded an extraordinary amount of work. You simply can't underestimate how big the job was, transforming the remote Lake Barrington into a venue fit for rowing's kings and queens.
A miniature tent city has sprung up at Lake Barrington as workmen this week complete the final preparations for the biggest sporting event ever to be held in Tasmania.
For the world's media, a giant press box was built overlooking the lake. Telecom made enormous investments into communication lines, broadcasters prepared to beam pictures around the globe, and flagpoles for the 46 countries competing were built. Tasmania rose to the task, putting on only the second Rowing World Championships in the Southern Hemisphere after New Zealand in 1978. The home crowd got behind Tasmanians Sandra Harvey, Glenn Myler and John Keogh, plus our bronze medal winning lightweight quad featuring Tasmanian Simon Burgess and Steve Hawkins, coached by Tim McLaren.
Oh, France, I think, by a centimetre over Australia.
Handycams made sure every stroke was shot as Australia claimed 4 medals, including gold in the coxless 4.
It's going to be a super race for the minor medals, but the Australians have won the gold medal in the coxless 4. Australia over, they rode superbly, a gold medal, and aren't the crowd wrapped in that?
Topping the medal tally, East Germany, still competing separately to West Germany despite the Berlin Wall falling the year before. The event's success was owed to the hundreds of volunteers. Devonport's Tim Gott was among them.
They ran a really good regatta and the international governing body, FISA, couldn't have been more happy. For FISA, it was a big gamble to bring the championships out to Australia. It all went off remarkably well and was really special.
Good evening. St Helens our top today, 21 degrees. Hobart and Burnie 17, Launceston 19 and Devonport 18. It was a cloudy day with a few showers over the west and far south and later a couple of showers over the southeast. Friendly Beaches 19 degrees, Bushy Park 18, Grove 17, Flinders Island and Low Head 16 and Lyawini 12. A mid-level cloud band due to a cold front over a large part of the state. A pool of low-level convective cloud followed in behind. Apart from the cloud over our region, areas of high cloud are present over much of the continent. The central north remained fairly clear. Tomorrow the high moves over, affecting the southeast of the country. Lows and surface troughs remain over the north and west of the nation. Southwesterly winds at 15 to 25 knots, but to 30 knots early over the east and south. Lighter winds over the inland lakes. A strong wind warning from and including Flinders Island to Low Rocky Point. Hobart. 14 and cloudy tomorrow. A cool day for Maydena, possible light shower and 11 for Oatlands. Launceston searching for a high of 17, a cloudy day. Devonport 16 degrees, -2 overnight for Lyawini, a top of 7 tomorrow. Burnie expecting a high of 16, a cloudy day. Strawn 14 along with Marrawar, and in the east tomorrow St Helens, a top of 16, becoming cloudy for Swansea 15, 14 the top for Orford. Saturday night's sunset will be just after 8 p.m, but not before the UV hits a very high 8 during the day. On Sunday, fine and sunny over the east and south, still okay elsewhere but partly cloudy. The fine conditions continue into Monday, Strawn looking at a high of 24, and on Tuesday, fine again but partly cloudy. Hobart up to 27, Strawn 29. 29 the high for Perth tomorrow. Cloudy weather over Adelaide and Melbourne, a windy day in Sydney with a shower or two. 27 and partly cloudy for Brisbane. Bit of cloud around Hobart, 13 at the moment, 17 and cloudy over Launceston, 15 right now in Devonport. Bit cool tomorrow, Kim, but the next 2 or 3 days are shaping up pretty well.
Wonderful news. Thanks, Murph. And that is your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us this evening. Good night.